All right, so you're ready to conquer the Adobe Workfront Fusion Developer Certification exam.
Sounds like it.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Absolutely.
This is your deep dive into all things Fusion. We'll use some sample exam questions to uh, guide us
Yeah.
and really unpack some key concepts.
Exactly. We'll look at the what, but also the why. So you can really master Workfront Fusion, not just pass the exam.
Yeah, because passing the exam, that's one thing, but like actually, being able to use this thing,
Exactly.
that's the
That was
real,
the goal.
yeah, that's the real goal.
That's the real prize.
All right, so let's jump right into our first question.
Let's do it.
It has to do with HTTP response codes. And I'll be honest, when I first started working with Fusion, these were a little cryptic to me.
Yeah, I feel you.
So this first question asks, what code you would expect to see after successfully updating a record in Fusion.
Right. You're looking for that signal that everything went through okay,
Yeah.
and that signal is going to be a nice 200 okay response.
Okay, 200. Okay, so that's the one we want to see. What are some of the ones that we don't want to see?
Yeah, so there are a bunch of different codes, but some common ones you might run into would be like a 400 bad request.
Ooh, bad request.
That sounds bad. It can be.
Yeah.
What does that tell us?
Basically, it means there's probably something wrong with the information that you sent to the system. It could be like a missing field, or maybe the data is not formatted correctly.
So it's like sending a letter to the wrong address.
Exactly. It's not going to get where it needs to go.
You got to fix that address.
Yeah, you got to go back and do a little detective work, figure out what needs to be fixed.
Okay, so 400, bad request, bad news. What about, what was the other one I saw? I think it was 500.
Oh, yeah, 500 internal server error.
Internal server error. Uh-oh. That one's a little trickier because that's usually an issue on the server side.
Okay, so that's not us, it's them.
Right. It's basically the server saying, hey, we've got a problem over here. It's like when you're trying to call a friend and their phone just keeps ringing. Something's preventing the connection from happening.
So less detective work for us and more just
More of a waiting game.
waiting game.
Yeah, hopefully they fix it on their end.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Okay, so 200 okay is the golden ticket here. Anything else? And we've got some troubleshooting to do.
That's right.
All right, next question. This one asks about REST API operations and which ones usually require an object ID.
Ah, yes. This is important. The answer here is delete and update. And to understand why, think about it like working with files on your computer.
Okay?
If you want to delete a specific file or maybe update it.
You got to select it, right?
Exactly. You got to tell the system exactly which file you're talking about.
Click on it.
Yep. And in the world of APIs, that's what the object ID does. It gives you that precision, tells the system precisely which record you want to work with.
Okay, so it's like that file selection, but for data. Okay, that makes sense.
Good.
So delete and update need that object ID.
That's right.
Let's move on to our next question. This one's about connecting Workfront to external services. What if you need to integrate with a service that doesn't have a pre-built connector?
Oh, that's where the universal connector really shines.
The universal connector, what is that?
It's like this super powerful tool. Think of it like a master key that can unlock integrations with all sorts of API-based services.
No, so we don't even need a pre-built connector. We can just use the universal connector.
Exactly.
But how does that work?
Well, with the universal connector, you actually get to define the API requests. You handle the authentication. It's all about setting up that communication between Workfront and the other service.
So it's kind of like building your own connector.
You got it. And that opens up a ton of possibilities.
Wow, that is powerful.
It is.
All right, let's talk about a common challenge that a lot of people run into. It's those too many requests to errors.
Ugh.
I hate those.
Oh, yeah. Those can be frustrating. I remember when I was first starting out with Fusion, I got a little too excited with an automation and ended up kind of bombarding this API with requests.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. I definitely learned about rate limits the hard way.
So what are rate limits and why do they exist?
Well, rate limits are there to protect the APIs. To keep them from getting overloaded. Think of it like a bouncer at a club.
Right.
The bouncer's there to control the flow of people, right?
Right, to keep things from getting too crazy.
Exactly. Without rate limits, APIs could get overwhelmed, they could crash, and that would impact everyone using the service.
So they're like safeguards.
Exactly.
So how can we be good citizens and avoid hitting those rate limits in Fusion?
There are a couple of key things you can do. First, implement delays between your requests.
Okay, so give it some breathing room.
Exactly. Let the API catch its breath. And the second thing is to build in some robust error handling. So if you do hit a rate limit, your automation can handle it gracefully.
So we're being polite and prepared.
Ex-
Awesome. Okay, on to our last question. This one is all about verifying data before you take action in an automation. Like, how do you confirm a task ID actually exists before you move forward?
That's where the search record module comes in handy.
Okay, search record. I like the name.
It's very descriptive.
It is.
It's basically like doing a quick check before you hit send on an important email.
Yeah, you want to make sure it's going to the right person.
Exactly. You want to make sure that recipient actually exists.
Right.
And the search record module lets you do that same thing in Fusion. You can check if a task with that specific ID is real.
So we're preventing errors.
Absolutely. And making sure that your automation is working with the correct information.
That is so important. All right, well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
What are some key takeaways? Good luck on your certification journey, and keep diving deep.
Good luck.
We'll see you next time.
See ya. See ya.